All right, everyone. Welcome to another Devvit live stream. For those of you that joined us last time, I'll just reiterate, this is a new format that we're trying out. We tried it out last month. It went pretty well, so we're going to try it out again. We have some exciting content on tap for today. So just a quick heads up with the content for today. We're going to talk about some of the updates of Devvit since the last time we were here. We're also going to announce the hackathon winners from the most recent hackathon, talk about the new launch screens and how you can get started using them. And then we're going to look ahead towards the rest of the year. So with that, I want to announce, or I guess I want to kind of go over Devvit 0.12.2, which is a feature release that came out on November 10th. This has a bunch of exciting new features in it. Most importantly, it has inline mode. So now web views can load directly within the feed. We had this in beta before this, but now this is the official release for it. So this is really helpful for preview screens, for game menus, for leaderboards, and specific game types such as hot and cold, where it really is just like text input and something kind of very straightforward, something that loads quickly within the feed. Those sort of games can live in this inline mode. One important call out for this is that only tap and click input is allowed. So if your app needs multiple gestures or swipes or things like that, you'll need to use expanded mode, which expanded mode is also rolling out in this 12.2 release. Basically, this allows you to launch into that full screen experience. So if you've been using Devvit for a while, remember the blocks into WebView. This is kind of a similar format to that. But without the blocks piece of it, this now allows you to build HTML pages and then launch from those into this expanded mode. And most recently, if you've been using the splash screens, which launch into the full web view mode as well, this is that same thing again. So expanded mode, this is really helpful if your app is something a little more complex. You have long load times, you need swipe support or some of those more complex gestures for touch input. And then, or if you just have a UI with a lot going on in it that maybe doesn't make sense in the feed, you can have more screen space that you can utilize through expanded mode. And so I kind of alluded to this, but the really exciting piece of this is these two different modes that you can render in are supported by this new concept of entry points. So within your Devvit JSON file, you can specify different entry points, which allow you to create HTML pages that load in specific contexts. So for example, you can have an entry point, such as this example where you have inline set to true. This will render directly within the feed. And then you could launch into this game entry point, which is a specific HTML page that you load into there. So think of it as a kind of like a state manager. You can load to a specific part of your game without really needing to worry too much about like passing all of that metadata back and forth. We kind of handle a lot of that bridge for you. So you can get started with this by scanning the QR code. This will take you to our developer docs. I'll also be covering getting started and migrating your apps from splash screens to this a little bit later in this webinar. So stay tuned for that, and we'll cover that there. And one last update I wanted to give on 0.12.2, we now have better logs. So you've been asking for this one for a while, but now you no longer need to be the mod of a subreddit to be able to get the logs of the installation of your app on that subreddit. So now moderators can enable you to have read permissions for your app. So if you have any tricky issues you're trying to debug on a specific instance of your app, you can now get those logs and be able to actually act on it without needing to be the moderator. So I think if you think about all of these features that I'm announcing, really this all stems from a lot of community feedback. We heard you wanted easier launch screens. We heard you wanted more logging. We heard you wanted a way to have in-feed experiences and have full screen experiences. So all of this update is really a result of you giving us that feedback. So continue to do that. We're really excited to continue to work towards building Devvit to be exactly what you want it to be. So continue to provide that feedback in our Discord and on r/Devvit. We'll be there, and we can interact with you there and hear more about these issues and then address them in future releases. But with that, I want to get to a much more exciting piece of this webinar, which is the winners of the Community Games Hackathon. If you think back, we had this hackathon. It was a 2-week hackathon, pretty short for us. It just ended on October 29th. There were 2 main categories. There was the community play category, which was really focused on how a community builds around this experience that you've created. And then there's also the Kiro developer experience category. And that category is really about how you integrate Kiro into your development workflow. Quick reminder, there's a bunch of cash up for grabs. So we're going to announce the winners of this, and then DevPost will contact the winners and be able to communicate the cash distribution. Quick reminder on judging criteria that was used for these decisions. Delightful UX, how polished was your app? How ready is it? Does it make sense on our platform? How much can a community come together around this app? And for the best Kiro developer experience, how creatively did you use Kiro as part of your developer workflow? And to talk about the Kiro side of things, we have Jonathan joining us again, who is going to be here to announce the winners of the Kiro piece of this hackathon. So Jonathan, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Hello, everybody. My name is Jonathan Vogel, and I'm a developer advocate at AWS on the Kiro team. I'm excited to have the opportunity to announce the winners for the Kiro experience. Our first honorable mention goes to the Digger Man incremental mining game. What impressed our judges was how they leveraged Kiro's steering documents to maintain perfect project context throughout development. Unlike traditional IDEs, Kiro automatically created contextual steering files for each major change, making complex Redis and React implementations seamless. The result? An addictive game with 10 biomes, 30 plus ore types, and over 200 active users, some digging beyond 10,000 feet. They built a production quality experience with 60 frames per second performance and 0 data loss. Congratulations. Up next for honorable mentions is Pixel Wars, a real-time competitive pixel art game inspired by our place. This developer achieved something remarkable: 10x development acceleration, completing in 3 days what normally would have taken 4 weeks. Kiro generated over 2,500 lines of production code across 40 plus components with 90% or more test coverage. They were able to catch over 20 critical bugs before production. And when performance issues arose, Kiro implemented dirty rectangle rendering to hit 60 frames per second. The numbers speak for themselves. Full TypeScript typing, comprehensive error handling, and a polished multiplayer experience. This showcases the future of development, human creativity, amplified by AI execution. Well done. Next honorable mention we have is Goblin Gardens. They take the honorable mention for their cozy idle game, combining therapeutic gameplay with physics simulations. The developer used the Kiro IDE to create a game development tools, exploring code architectures to generate new specs and agent steering. Built in under 2 weeks using Three.js and React 3 Fiber, players scrounge for shinies and grow gems in a charming goblin world theme. A goblin-themed world. What's impressive is how they documented their entire Kiro workflow in a detailed blog post, sharing insights on using AI-assisted development that the broader community can learn from. A cozy game with serious technical chops. Awesome. Next, we have Don't Kill the Fish, bringing us a high-stakes, community-run virtual fish tank with permadeath mechanics. The developer used Kiro for planning and developing the bulk of the code, then switched to rapid iteration for fine-tuning. What makes this project stand out is the innovative social rogue-like genre they created. Every player has permanent consequences, and if the community fails, everything resets, except statuses, commemorating top contributors. Built with Pixie.js for high-performance rendering and integrated with Reddit's real-time API, they balance community chaos with structured gameplay through democratic voting. It's collaborative, it's chaotic, and it's completely unique. Great job. Our final honorable mention goes to Jet Oni, a first-person asymmetric 3D tag game that brings jetpack parkour to Reddit. Here's what's incredible. The developer completed this in just 1 week while judging work and childcare, thanks to Kiro. They used a prototype folder for rapid exploration, and then moved to specs to formalize requirements. Kiro's integration with Devvit's MCP helps solve complex multiplayer synchronization challenges, while automated unit tests and PR creation freed them to focus purely on development. The result? One of the first truly interactive, high-performance 3D games running entirely within Reddit's ecosystem. This was an incredible display of 3D work. And without Kiro, they said participating simply wouldn't have been possible. These 5 honorable mentions showcase incredible creativity in leveraging Kiro for everything from maintaining project context to 10x software development speed to enabling participation that otherwise would not have been possible. And now, for our $10,000 prize for the best Kiro developer experience report goes to Blockrift. Blockrift is a multiplayer 3D sandbox game where Reddit communities can build, explore, and connect in real time with adorable Snoo avatars. But what impressed the judges was the journey behind it. As a solo developer, the creator had struggled for years with Three.js. The mental model felt impenetrable. Tutorials only went so far. Enter Kiro. They use spec-driven development to systematically break down every intimidating concept into manageable pieces. Each feature, from procedural world generation to real-time multiplayer synchronization, became a focused spec that they could tackle with confidence. The innovation that stood out, they used Kiro to design local mock backend powered by Redis and WebSockets, modeled after Devvit's APIs. With a simple command switch, npm run dev local versus npm run dev, they could rapidly iterate and test multiplayer locally, and then seamlessly deploy to Reddit. The result? Going from intimidated by 3D to shipping a fully functional multiplayer game engine in weeks. This is exactly what we're looking for: creative solutions that improve the developer experience and can be adopted by others. Congratulations to the Kiro winners. What's been incredible about this hackathon is seeing how developers are pushing Kiro beyond what we imagine. These winning projects aren't just great games, they're blueprints for how AI-assisted development can transform the way we build software. From 10x development acceleration to maintaining perfect project context, enabling solo developers to build something in a week, what could take months, to catching critical bugs before they hit production. You all have shown us the true potential of AI-assisted development. For our winners, successful apps from this hackathon can be eligible for Reddit developer funds. So this might just be the beginning of your journey. And everyone tuning in, all these winning projects are open source. So check out their repositories to learn more about their approaches. And if you're inspired by what you saw here, there's no better time to start your own project with Kiro. Go to kiro.dev to learn more, and don't forget about joining the Discord community. We launched general availability yesterday with a bunch of cool new capabilities to explore. Well, that's it for the Kiro prizes. Stay tuned for more announcements to come. Over to you, Chris.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, really exciting work, everyone, with integrating Kiro into your workflows. I think It was really nice to have Jonathan here to explain some of the backstory behind some of these projects. I think that's really where Kiro shines and in improving your workflows. So glad to have Kiro here to help talk us through all that. But with that, we have a lot more prizes to give out, so we're going to continue right on. Next up is the Helper Award. This goes to the people that were the most helpful during this hackathon. Beach Brews, Pitchfork Assistant, Plex Versal HD. You were helping pretty much everyone. We got lots of great feedback here. In the talk bubbles are some of the feedback that we've received, but really it all boils down to these people are amazing. So thank you for your contributions to our developer community, both during this hackathon and in general. And you are the winners of the Devvit Helper Award. So congratulations. And then next up, let's move on into the community play side of things. So this is again for the games and apps that really really enable the community to grow around them. So starting off with this honorable mention, we have Avatar Arena. Avatar Arena is a turn-based fighter. You battle against other snooze within the community. So it's a really cool experience where you kind of get to explore other people within the community, fight against them, level up your rank, and work your way up the leaderboard. Just a really good use of putting Snoo front and center. So we really enjoyed seeing this one and all the ways that you can interact and really get to know some people in your community. So great job, Avatar Arena. Next up, we have Draw Phone. This is a telephone style game where you have a prompt, you do a drawing, and then from the drawing, you see the next person will see just the drawing. They'll guess what it is. The next person will take their guess. They'll do a drawing, and it kind of goes back and forth until you end up with something that is completely haywire. So this is a game that I think really does well on Reddit. We're really excited to see already a community growing around this. Some of the drawings on here, like this pepper thing, was really impressive. So really good use of just enabling a community to interact together, and it's fun to follow the chain and see where they end up. This candle skateboarding, I think like the last drawing of the candle in this one, I thought was really funny. So there's the candle on the sleigh there, then that candle jumping on the table was really good. So good job, Draw Phone. You are another honorable mention. Next up, we have Pixel Sandbox. So this is pretty much what the name implies. It's a pixel sandbox. You can add different elements to this grid, and then they'll just interact with each other. But what makes this really interesting is, well, I guess first the interactions are really fun to play around with, and just you can spend hours just doing this. But also you can share your posts and share your setup of your sandbox, where then other people can come in and then play from the point that you created. So we've seen already a community building around this game where they're like, come play my game and then add lava to this area. And then it starts to trigger a whole chain reaction of events. So there's a community really engaged here. And I think that this is something that we've really enjoyed seeing, just the creativity of Reddit coming together in a new way. We've seen a lot of success in the past with art games and drawing games. But this is kind of finding a new way to share and creating an experience for people to play and interact with, and really allowing people to still be artistic at the same time. So Pixel Sandbox, great job. You are another honorable mention. Next up, we have Sky Scrabble. This is an idle clicker where you click on the rocks in the bottom to collect them. Then you can make bricks with them. You can build up your own tower. As you build up the tower, you can collect more resources more quickly. You also have a really cool piece of this where you can then draw different levels of your tower, so they don't have to be directly collection layers. They can be just like that one. There's 100 level, so you really can just draw what you want there. But there's a combination of things that made this really cool for a community. There's the piece where everyone's competing to build the tallest tower. So you can see in the leaderboard the 10 tallest towers that are currently there. And then there's also this group tower. So if you want to actually build a tower together, the entire subreddit can come together and build a tower with their own drawings and make sure that that's efficient as well. So that was a really cool use of both leaderboards and community play. So really highly polished experience. So we really enjoyed that one as well. So congratulations to Sky Scrabble. Next up, we have Thread Square. Thread Square is kind of just a place to hang out. It's a really, it's like this kind of grass field, the town square, and you can join your friends there. Anyone can join in. You just walk around and you can send messages to each other and chat with each other. It's a great replacement for chat on Reddit. Really just a fun place to hang out. Felt kind of old school, instant messengery, lots of emojis, lots of just chatting with each other, and you can kind of just follow each other around, invite people in. So just another unique way for people to interact on Reddit. We really don't have a lot of places for you to idly hang out and chat and experience something together. Again, putting the snoo front and center is always really great too. So really good job here for Thread Square. We really enjoyed seeing this piece of a community come together. Next up, we have ISO Realms. ISO Realms is a turn-based, I guess, battle game where you also have this level creator mode. But here now you can see on the screen is the turn-based mechanics. So really, there are these customized levels. You choose your units, you move, you attack the other units. You try and beat the level and kill the enemies as quickly as possible. There's quite a bit of complexity to the different characters that you can choose from, different unit types, the different movement, different strategies. But really, what sets us apart is this level creator, where it has different elevation you can set. You can completely customize the terrain, customize where the enemies show up, where you as the user playing the level start out, and really created this really compelling experience to drive users back and create a lot more user-generated content. So just a really cool way for the community to grow together. So we really like that one. Old school design looked really cool too. So really good job, ISO Realms. Next up, we have RES 9000. I don't know if it's Reddit Entertainment System or Reddit Emulation System, but it is a really unique concept, and we're really excited to have this as part of the hackathon. Basically, how this works is it's these simple pixel art games where you jump in. Each post is its own completely unique game. They're all generated by AI. So here is like a subway connector game where you try and transfer units around. But then whenever you're done playing that level, you can either remix that level and create a whole new post, or you can create a completely new game directly within the post itself. So here I prompted it to create a Western platformer where I could lasso cows, and there I lassoed my cows, and they're following after me. So this is a really cool way where it encourages people to click on new posts, try and see what the content's going to be. It's always going to be a nice surprise. And then if they have something they want to contribute to the content, they have an easy way to remix that and make something new out of it. And if they want to start something completely from scratch, they can do that as well. So a really cool combination of usage of AI to make sure that the community can actually grow and be dynamic. Again, a lot of these really thrive, and a lot of Reddit really thrives when users are able to use their creativity to interact in the sub. So this one was a great example of that. Definitely a lot of fun to mess around with too. Next up for honorable mention, we have Hexiles. This one is a really cool drawing and community map making experience. So you can create your own tiles and contribute to this very large hex grid map. There's a bunch of beautiful artwork already in it. Basically, it's this giant public world. You can switch to private worlds as well and create those. You can add trees over top. But really, it's just kind of this community drawing experience. I think we're really excited to see where this one goes. I think there's a lot of opportunity to, I think you even saw in one of those, there's like a kraken coming out of the ocean. There's a lot of opportunity for the community to really take this and run with it and build something that is going to be a really wacky world that they live in. But just a lot of fun to mess around with. Highly recommend everyone to check this one out. Add your own tiles and really just help draw out this map. It's a really cool, just cozy way to spend some time. And yeah, I think this one was a lot of fun. So good job, Hexiles. This was a great game. Next up, Golfed It. This is another kind of UGC game. This one is like an old school putt-putt game. And all of these levels are created by the users. So there's a lot of different mechanics in here of the different tile types. Obviously, I'm struggling through this level, as you can see, but just a really satisfying experience. And once you beat the level, you can either remix the level. So we've kind of mentioned this theme a couple of times, but if there's like one piece of it, like, oh, I think it'd be really cool if I added this. You also see the leaderboard to see how everyone else did on that level. You can also create completely new levels from scratch, but then it has this whole level editor where you can move where the ball starts. You can create a really customized experience. So this is another way where, again, take some simple mechanic, polish that up, and then allow users to run with it. This is really what we've seen a lot of success with on Reddit, and Golfit did a great job, and just a really aesthetically pleasing and satisfying game to play. So great job, Golfit. Next up, we have Stonefall. Stonefall is a tower stacking game. As you build up your tower, the pieces fall off. We've kind of seen that concept before, but what makes this really interesting is, one, the aesthetic, which I think is really satisfying. It's all kind of got this Tron, really glowy, really like, it's just a really satisfying experience to play. And the part that really sets this apart is this final leaderboard. So once you're done with your tower, once you finish building it, you end up building out this city with everyone else who's played. So you can start to see like the city form with all these skyscrapers in this Tron-like world. And I think it's a really interesting way to showcase the leaderboard of a game. Last time we were here, we talked about unique ways of showing leaderboards, of people interacting with this way. And I think this really made it a compelling way to bring people back, see how other people are comparing to you. So really, really satisfying game and unique way to do community play in the leaderboard. So I don't think I have the bongos for me, but the winner for our side is Tower Race. This wins the best game for community play. It is a jump racing game. Basically, there's posts. On each post, you race up against the person who created the post. So they set the starting time. They have their ghost racing up the level. You can only go right or left. There's a bunch of different hazards to avoid as you do this. But what makes this really interesting, so this part's really satisfying to play. It kind of has that community experience already where you're competing against some random ghost from the level. But once you beat the level, if you get the best time, then you end up going to this boss battle mode where you have to fight this boss, and you take its, I think it's soul, you take its life, you take some piece of it. But what you're able to do with that then is then create a new post within the subreddit using that energy that you've harnessed. And then that creates a new level where you then set the starter time. And then anyone who tries to play on that level, if they do not beat your starter time, then you harness their energy, which you can then use to purchase upgrades in the shop that they have built. And then whenever someone beats your level, then they harness your energy as well. So it's a really unique way of incorporating UGC into this overall experience within a subreddit, really driving people to compete, want to play more levels, want to create more content. The more content I create, the faster I do it, the more I'm going to harness this energy to really start to level up my character. It's a really satisfying experience. It's got complexity to it. So I think this was with all of these winners, I think we've seen so many great submissions with really unique ways for communities to get together. And I think this is the one that we felt really leaned into the Reddit overall ecosystem of creating posts, having pin posts, and working through that experience. So great job, Tower Race. Great job, everyone who participated in this hackathon. If you're wondering, though, like, okay, I submitted, I won, or I didn't win, what do I do next? I just built this game. I'm really excited about it. We have so many more that we didn't list here that we are really excited about as well. What do you do next? You can get featured. So that's the next piece of this, really. Like, if you've been on Reddit, you're on the left side, you see we have this games on Reddit drawer. There's a bunch of games there. We have a games feed, we have games launcher, we have all these different surfaces for games on Reddit. And we now have this featuring guide. So you can go, if you scan this QR code or follow the link there, really this is going to walk you through the steps to be able to get featured on Reddit. And that's really where you start to get a lot of eyeballs on your game. You start to get a lot of players. You start to grow your community, and you start to earn more Reddit developer funds. So definitely check this out. It is really, I think a lot of these games that we've seen in these hackathons, like they're really cool concepts. And if we can get them over the finish line to this featuring state, which is all kind of listed on this page, it can really, really find success on Reddit. So definitely don't be shy about trying to get featured. Don't be shy about reaching out to us on if you're confused how you can take your app from where it is to get it featured. We really, really want to get as many users onto your apps as possible. And so with that, one of the key parts of getting featured is that compelling first screen. So I mentioned this at the top. We have a new way to have launch screens for your Devvit apps. And so I recorded a video yesterday. I wanted to kind of walk through it just to show you how you migrate your app from the current setup of splash screens to like this splash screen to the new launch screen. So it's pretty straightforward. We have docs on it, but this is a Unity template that I'm working on. We're going to have this Unity starter template out pretty soon, so keep an eye out on that. But really just going to focus on how you take this default splash screen, or even if you've customized the splash screen, and update it to the next version of Devvit. So the first thing you're going to need to do, or I guess, yeah, it's all following, again, I mentioned this, following the migrating from splash screens doc site. So this is migration instructions. It's just going through there. The first thing you're going to need to do is just update your dependencies if you haven't already. In this project, I'm already on 0.12.3. 0.12.2 is when all of these features were released. So you can use that as well, but we now have 0.12.3 out. To update, you can do npx npm check updates -u. That will just update your package.json file. And from there, you can do an npm install, and that will make sure that your packages are up to date. And then at that point, we're pretty much just going to follow these instructions. So first thing you got to do, this is going to be like 4 minutes. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to add new entry points to your devvit.json file. You name these entry points. So the default one is the one that opens by default. You can see it's marked as inline, so it's going to render directly within the feed. And then we've also added this game entry point, which is pointing to an index.html file. That one is going to be where my Unity game lives. So I'm going to go into devvit.json. I'm going to copy over that post data and paste it over my current post and just fix some formatting. But really, again, it's just the adding in a default entry point to the splash HTML page, which we'll create as our new launcher, and then a game entry point, which will be the actual game that we'll launch into. So from there, the next thing we need to do is configure Vite so that we can actually build these HTML files into our distribution folder. So it's really straightforward. We're just going to add an input field to our rollup options and add in the two splash and game, the two entry points that we want to build there, and their HTML files that we're referencing. Then you actually have to create those HTML files. So I'm going to create this splash HTML file. I'm going back to that doc. I'm just going to copy and paste pretty much exactly what is there. I am going to add the module as the type of the script, just to make sure that we can import one of the APIs that we'll be using to enable that pop-out view that I mentioned at the top, which is really what makes these splash screens and these new launch screens like really, really exciting. So then create the script that it references there. It references a preview.js script. So just going to copy that, paste it in, and really, so this requested expanded mode, what this does is this takes it from that inline experience, and then you can request expanded mode to a specific entry point. So if you remember, we named one of our entry points game. This is launching into that entry point. So this will open up that index.html in the expanded mode. So in full screen on mobile, in the bigger view on desktop, this is really where you can start to create dynamic experiences. And then that's pretty much it. All you have to do now is just delete all this old Splash stuff because we don't need any of that. All of that is now being handled by the Splash HTML page. This is what you can configure. This is what renders first within the feed. So from there, you just do another npm run dev. You update your app. And then once that is updated, We'll give it a second to build. You open it up and you can see that now instead of that splash screen we had before, you have this now, that placeholder launch screen, which is just that HTML file. If you click play, it launches into the Unity game. So I hope this is just really, I was trying to highlight just how easy it is to upgrade your splash screens to this new launch screen format. And from there, you have full creativity to be able to, and full flexibility to be able to create really compelling first screen experiences to make sure that people drive into your app. So kind of what I was mentioning with getting featured and this too, like we as Reddit want to get as many users onto your game as possible. That's our goal. So making sure that you have an exciting first screen experience is a big part of that. So make sure that you you update, you try out this new feature. We're really excited to see some of the new launch screens that you build. If you have any questions, we're going to cut out that part of the video, post it separately on our YouTube so you can reference it there. Again, it will be in our docs as well. But yeah, that's pretty much what's changed since the last time we were here. And then now looking forward to the end of the year. We're not going to have any more hackathons this year. We'll be back next year with a bunch more hackathons. So thank you for everyone for participating in all of our hackathons throughout the year and just building great content, great games. And as part of that, we really want to, in this next webinar in December, we're going to have a Devvit app awards and really, I guess, honor the people that have built great content, great games, and honor the games and mod tools and everything that makes our platform so great. So we have scanned this QR code to fill out the form. We're accepting nominations. We extended this for a couple more days. We want to make sure we get as many nominations as possible so we can really make sure that the right people win these awards. There's a lot of awards up for grabs. You get real prizes. So I can't say what they are yet, but they are exciting, and I think you will want to win them. So definitely nominate anyone and anything that you saw that was really exciting on Devvit this year. And we will be back next month to announce those winners. So we're going to have just a bunch of winners in all of these webinars. That's the goal. And if you have any other questions about upgrading your app, about getting paid through the hackathon, you can reach out to us. DevPost will reach out to you if you were a winner of one of these categories. But with that, we will see you next time and see you in Discord and see you on r/Devvit. So thank you so much for joining. Bye, everyone.